Hello guys, today I will be doing another Coralline theory, and today I'm going to be explaining where all the stuff in the imaginary world comes from. Why do the old, here's some of the cool questions some people might have said, they didn't say it in the comments, I'm just guessing, why do the old ladies turn young? Where did the theater come from? Why does Mr. Bobisky love circus so much? And is all the stuff in the other world, the Pink Palace, back when the three children, or from the time of the beldam being alive to the time of the last child out of the three be taken? Well, today I'll be explaining that my answer is yes. As we remember the 3 dates of the candy in the old lady's house. Well, these have another special meaning to them. Not just, their one special meaning is the 3 children's taken. Also, the 3 years that they played in movie theaters and acrobatics. Yes, it is true. Back in the 1930s, there was a theater that probably is still there, not far from the Pink Palace, where these girls played out. And here are some theories pointing towards it. When Coralline first walks in their house, we can see posters of them young, showing that they were special everywhere. And also, later on, the old lady says that we're going to be late for the theater, and it's a mile down the road. So yes, we already know that there's a theater in this town a mile down the road from the Pink Palace. And as we can see in Coraline's present time, that the Pink Palace is an abandoned place with barely any of the magic it had back then. But then the beldam uses the magic it had to put Coralline in. And now let's get to Mr. Bobinski. We all expect that back in the 30s, 60s, or 20s, probably the 60s, comparing from the age he is, in the late 60s and 70s, that he was a circus person. And the old ladies were, theater people. And as we can see in the other world, when showing him, he is younger. But in present time of Coralline, he is older, showing that in Coraline's other world, that's what he looks like now. I'll be right back, guys. What? Okay guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. So we already know that back in the 60s probably he was a circus person. And now, since the magic of the Pink Palace in the town has been erased, he now lives his memory on inside the Pink Palace apartments, trying to get his mice back into action. But we can see over the years he kind of gave up with the weight he's gained compared in the other world, so we can already tell. And also that's why the garden is all spoofy. So basically, when I said that, and then the timeline of the other world takes place from 1900 to 60, so the part of the world taking place in the 30s, that part of it is basically, them girls in the theater represent the part of the other world taking place in the 1920s, 30s, and 60s, and the part of Bobisky also represents the 60s part of the town, and the garden represents the 1900s and 1860s, where the beldam was alive. These times represent the history of the Pink Palace. As we can see, comparing from the other world Pink Palace and the North Pink Palace, now we can see after the year 1960, which would have been when the last child was taken, it was over. The town was forced to leave the Pink Palace to rot, knowing that 3 or maybe 4 children were taken. Actually, no, because the cat is not one of the children, some people believe it, but either 3 or 4 were taken. And a girl fell down the well, which would have been the beldam. So we already know that it was left to rot after these events. People still, or actually no, people didn't still move in. I almost said that. Coralline was the first person to move in at least 70, 80, 90, 2000, in 40 years. If you count from the 60s, 70, 80, 90, 2000. She was the first person to move in 40 years. Because I'm watching the movie now, and I just wanted to say this before somebody else did. It has been 40 years since anybody has moved into the Pink Palace, but it must have been the only house available. So they must have been newcomers in the Pink Palace, the first newcomers since 40 years. Well, there might have been other newcomers before them in the town, but them house might have been taken, and they wanted to move there for the full hour thing, and the only place they could move in was the Pink Palace, which, you know, I'm guessing that movers didn't know about the secret, or they would have been scared. And now let's go and talk about the grandma. So we already know her timeline was the 1960s comparing to her sister. We already know the boy was the 30s and the pioneer girl was the 20s. Because pioneers lived sometime between 1860s and 1920s. So we already know that. And she decided to take over the Pink Palace after her sister was taken. After 1968 or whatever, the year her sister was taken, well, I'm pretty sure it was 1968, even though her sister's death was there, she decided to take over the Pink Palace, but not live in it, watch over it. If the year 1968 is the year then her sister was taken, then I have a new theory. So put in the comments below if that is it, but here's the new theory. Or here's not a theory, but a weird thing. So the Pink Palace opened in 1868. And the last child, which was the grandma's sister, was taken in 1968. Mind blown. Your mind isn't blown yet? Well, look at the dates. 1868, 1968. It was the anniversary of the Pink Palace is being built, which I think would have been 100 years. I forget exactly how many years, but yeah, at least 100. It would have been the anniversary of the Pink Palace, the last child taken on the anniversary. And after that, gone. No more until 2009, which is pretty sure when the movie takes place. Coralline was taken. So yeah, that's my theory, guys, basically about the history and stuff. But look, Coralline, my sister is scared. Come here. Don't scary, come here.